Greetings boys, girls and gender rebels, I'm Penny Underbust and today you are joining me for a tutorial video. Today I will be showing you all how to make these tusks that I made for my Killian cosplay. Full disclosure, this is going to be an incredibly easy tutorial to follow. There's actually only really one ingredient that is indispensable for this, and that is thermoplastic. The brand I'm using here is called Instamorph, but any thermoplastic should be just fine. Now, I'm also using an optional tool, and that is a heat gun. Many people just immerse their thermoplastic in boiling water, but I find that using a heat gun is far easier. I'm going to be using scraps of thermoplastic for this tutorial. You can use the raw form that I showed earlier though. This stuff is just bits I've worked with in the past and scrapped. Never throw away excess thermoplastic since you can just reheat it and use it for different projects. Okay, let's get started. Heat some thermoplastic, let it cool enough to handle it, then roll it into a long teardrop shape. Do the same thing a second time. Now I'm going to very quickly show you how long it takes to heat one of these pieces of thermoplastic in real time. And that's just because it's so much quicker than it is with hot water. And if you've used thermoplastic before and not used it with a heat gun, this might convert you back into wanting to try again, because I did use thermoplastic in the past, but I was just sticking with the boiling water method, and it just takes so long, and the water needs to be like unbearably hot for your hands to be hot enough to actually melt the plastic, and I just highly recommend this. There is, however, one drawback to using a hot air gun, and that is that when the thermoplastic is in its raw form, or like, in those pearls or beads, they kind of want to fly everywhere. The solution that I found for this though is that you just put them in a bowl and you heat it on a very low setting in the bowl until they kind of get a bit cohesive, and then it's much easier. When you have two tusks that appear approximately the same, shape them thusly. Put those aside for now and grab another little chunk of thermoplastic. This one you're going to want to heat and then work into a flat, vaguely oval/rectangular shape. This is the most dangerous part of the tutorial. You have to put this in your mouth while it's still warm enough to be malleable, but not so hot as to cause any damage to you. Now, I have a mouth made of asbestos. I'm not sure that I can be burned, but your mouth is probably less calloused than mine, so please make sure it's cool enough to press against your wrist before putting it in your mouth. You want to wrap it over your bottom jaw, pressing it lightly into the front and back of your teeth with your fingers. Leave it in your mouth for a few minutes to harden a bit, but it doesn't need to be fully solid before you remove it. Just make sure it's no longer very soft. Put it aside and let it fully harden before the final step. The final step is as simple as attaching the fangs to the little lower jaw retainer thingy we just made. Thermoplastic sticks to itself when it's warm, so you only really need to heat them both up enough to bond them together. You can add a little strip of thermoplastic to the outside of the fangs to help the bond, but it's not strictly necessary. Now get jaundiced and get your orc on. Or troll or werewolf or, literally anything that you could need tusks for. Alright, and next week I am planning on showing you all how I achieved this glorious green hue. It's simpler than you may expect it to be. From the bottom of my little black heart, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!
Zug zug.